Hi, it's a Sunday in September. Soon I will be 30 years old, 30. Um, I'm excited for the opportunity to have a celebration. And I wanted to talk about my current living circumstances. So I live in a block with lots of other people. I'm not a tenant, I'm a licensee. There's a license agreement. I considered by the local council as homeless. This is deemed to be emergency accommodation. There are different terminologies aside from emergency accommodation, such as interim accommodation, short-term accommodation, emergency housing, interim housing, hostel accommodation. So there's lots of different terminologies here. And I'm feeling conflicted. I feel as though my energy is sensitive at the moment to external influences. For example, there's this kind of like very sort of masculine driven concept of like, well, every day you wake up, you check all the listings and the local agents, you read all the newspapers, you like go and present yourself to estate agents in person, you send the emails, you are very proactive in getting yourself out of this situation to a better situation. Simultaneously, there are other perspectives, which is, rest, recuperate. You've been through a traumatic experience, use this time as sacred time to heal, and when you're ready, the right doors will open for you. There is the council route. It's safer to bid for council properties, housing associations, social housing developers. It's a secure or permanent, as I believe the council phrase it, living situation or circumstance. So I'm kind of feeling like my energy is being pulled in different directions, or not even that there's a pull, more so like, where am I best to invest my energy? Do I do a little bit of everything? Do I pick one and stick to it and focus? Like, what are my priorities? Is my health my priority? At what point does my health become overtaken by other priorities? Like, what am I basing these decisions on? And not having somebody, like a person, an entrusted advisor in my life, who is able to empathize or relate or provide a listening ear, is quite interesting for me. I spend a lot of time with myself, like a lot of time. I just noticed that my shoulders were like rounded and I was like hunched, like closing off my heart chakra instead of being like open. And it's quite strange because people are like, oh, reach out for help, ask for help. If you need to talk to somebody, talk to somebody. And now that I find myself in this situation where I'm inclined to share and talk and listen, I don't particularly feel like those avenues exist. I'm like, do I talk to God? Do I like pray to the angels? Do I put a message out to the universe? Do I sit down with a piece of paper and work with the facts, with logical reasoning? Like, what? Do I move into gratitude? Oh, it's great being in a state of gratitude, and naturally the law of manifestation and the law of attraction, and I will bring to me this and I'll bring to me that, and all of this stuff. Like, what? It's all well and good being in a state of gratitude, but again, like, being in a state of gratitude in a sort of literal way as opposed to figuratively isn't necessarily going to be what gets me from this living situation to a different living situation. I always thought my dreams and my aspirations and my goals were like really big and dramatic, like one in my own business, one in my own like company, my own organization, helping to establish, like beautiful changes in people's lives and in the world, or like being a producer or director or an actress or a singer or publishing a book. I always thought it was going to be this really big thing, but actually I can't begin those ventures. I can if I choose to, but when there isn't, the foundations of home security, then the aspiration and the goal and the dream becomes being housed and having that permanent accommodation, that home security where you have legal rights as a tenant to protect you, and processes that are in place, and I can have my personal items, I can choose my decor, I can create a safe haven, a sacred space in which I'm able to heal and move forward with my life in alignment with my own self at any one time. And I feel like in this observational mode that it's kind of like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Do I choose to follow these other aspirations and goals and what comes with them might lead me to a new home environment? Or do I take these distractions away and stop spreading my energy thin and focus on the next logical step, which is to have my own place in a sort of more settled way? Or do I take a step back from doing actions and just like be at peace where I am and the fact that I'm safe here, and be really grateful, I have my own bathroom, I have my own facilities, and to just be big on the gratitude and the healing processes, and resting a lot and making sure I'm taking care of myself here in the now. I'm really ashamed that the things that I want on a heart and soul level aren't necessarily to do with me or my personal success. So yeah, I'd love a boss career, doing what I want to do and doing what brings me joy. And yeah, I'd love to travel and to be successful and to bring joy to people's lives. But fundamentally what I want is like to be in a relationship, a loving relationship, and to have, like, with myself first and foremost, and to have, you know, a really beautiful home life, and to start a family. And I feel like they are not good enough aspirations. And people talk about, you know, out in the world that, you know, it might have taken 10 years, it might have taken 15 years to get their business, to get their brand to where it's at now, you know, and that it's taken them a lot of dedication, a lot of focus, a lot of, like, knockbacks, a lot of setbacks, and, you know, they powered through. And why is that same approach to love and romance and home security and home life and relationships and marriage and children, why is that same stance not given the same credence when it's applied to, you know, like, romantic or sensual or loving goals or outcomes or targets? Like, if I wouldn't, you know, if I feel like my calling isn't to inspire 1 million people every week or every day, and isn't to hit these targets, but actually my, you know, calling is to provide a home for myself. And, you know, houses aren't necessarily homes, you know, homes are created and built, and it's a feeling, you know. And if my calling is to raise children and be a mother and be a wife and a loving partner, like, as well as a businesswoman, you know, or a business owner or a brand developer or whatever it is, like, why, if I say I'm a stay-at-home mom, people are like, but you're single and you don't have kids. And it's like, what about all those celebrities and all of those millionaires and billionaires that said this is already what I am and believed in themselves before it came into fruition 5, 10, 15 years down the line? What if they'd have given up? Would they be where they are now? So why, if I take the same concept and apply it to my dreams, my goals, my aspirations on a heart and soul level, is that perceived to be cheating in some way? For me to prepare, which is what it is, how to run a home, how to manage finances of a household, how to take care of, you know, the day-to-day functioning of a place of security for myself, and to develop that into what I would want to take into an experience of motherhood or marriage. I'm kind of feeling like invaluable in society, because a lot of the value I feel I provide is in my private life, not my public life. So it's not validated, it's not acknowledged, it's not recognized. Which is, you know, a thing. But I think generally, if those aspects were like, is it venerated? I don't know, like, if it was actively revered in my external world, not necessarily my personal private value, but those acts that are done on a regular basis, if I could perceive in my external reality, in society and in my community and in my culture, that what I do in my personal life is actually valued in the world, then that would be really amazing. But I just don't see that. It's kind of like, oh, she's a go-getter. She had her own CEO company by the time she was 32. It's like, yeah, but does she know what setting to wash silk lingerie on so that it doesn't get destroyed? Could she get that stain out of your carpet, the rug that your great-grandmother left you? Could she have a 3-way conversation with a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old, and feed a newborn on her boob whilst making breakfast for you before you go to work? Like, I'm frustrated because I feel like being a nurturing person being a caregiver, it's kind of like not necessarily synonymous with an empowered woman, a sexualized woman, a sexy woman, like an intelligent woman, a capable woman, a powerful woman, like someone with influence, someone with a joie de vivre, like someone with transferable skills, somebody with corporate past experience. Like, why can't I be everything and know that I am and do it, all of it, very well? Like, why do I have to choose like one path to focus my energy on? Like, because if we're spreading ourselves too thin and blah blah blah. Like, dude, this is my life. I am a cleaner, I am a cook, I am a chambermaid, I am a nurse, I am a mother, I am a caregiver, I am a wife, I am sexy, I am intellectual, I am a career woman. Like, why? I am a creative, I'm also analytical and scientific. Like, why is that like not enough? Why is that not okay? Because it can't be categorized. Well, you have to pick one. Don't be afraid to commit to one. Don't be afraid to be committed to a multitude of things in your life. And just because you can't do those things doesn't mean you have to then spend time to actively invalidate the fact that I can. And just because I don't do these things doesn't mean I don't do them because I can't do them or because I'm not good at them. I'm super organized. I'm super creative. Simultaneously, I have a scientific mind, an analytical mind. You know, I have a great CV. I have amazing education and skills. Like, I'm youthful, I'm intelligent, I'm beautiful, I'm exuberant, I'm kind, I'm caring. Like, I'm not insecure about my body, and I'm like relatively confident, but I wouldn't say I'm arrogant. Like, I feel like a pretty grounded, balanced woman. And yet I am unemployed. I don't own my own home. Legally, I'm homeless. I don't have lots of savings. I don't have a vehicle. I don't have a partner. Like, me not having those things doesn't mean I haven't tried to have them. Doesn't mean I haven't tried different ways of having them. And I suppose in a way I'm kind of like a bit fed up. I met up with some guys down at a local cafe on the street where I live, and one of the guys was like, "What have you done today?" And he knows I'm currently unemployed and he works from home. And I just felt like this disdain and this like rigidity, and I've chosen to not see. I've not seen him since. Like, I've not had an interaction with him since because I just don't really want to put myself in those situations around those dynamics and that energetic and physical kind of like situation. But like, I'm a human being, and I'm a person, and I deserve to be treated with respect and empathy and care and love and affection. You know, at the bare minimum, there's professionalism, there's civility, you know, there's being civil and respectful. And as a person who presents themselves to people in that way, you know, it is an expectation to have that back. And if it's not, you know, received, then, you know, I can learn not to put myself in, you know, those situations again. So I know that I'm highly employable and yet I'm still unemployed. I know that I'm lovable and yet I'm not in, a committed monogamous relationship. And it's kind of like there doesn't have to be anything wrong. Like, I feel like, oh, I should use this time to come up with my own footsie fucking 500, 5,000 company. And, I should be expanding this and expanding that and growth mentality this and looking into all these business ventures. And it's like, no, like, I still want to be a mother. I still want to be a partner. And like, I do want to rest and I want to strive as well. But like I say, cyclically throughout the month, like, my energy waxes and wanes, it ebbs and flows, and like my emotional capacity and my intellectual capacity and my physical capacity goes through a lot of changes because of the hormones that shift through my body. And I honor that. So it's kind of frustrating when I know what I'm going through and I know what I've been through just to get here and to not be homeless on the street or street homeless or street rough or street sleeping. I know what I've been through to get here. And then I met with people from the outside who, they don't get it. And it's kind of like, well, have you applied for this? Well, have you done that? Why haven't you done this? And I'm just like, whoa, it's like this wave, and it's just kind of like, dude. Like, there is an emotional labor that is involved with simply being in this situation, this personal circumstance in and of itself. Like, dude, we're not allowed visitors or guests. Like, this is a no alcohol site. There are rules, there are house rules here. It's like, it's not like having your own sort of like private abode. Do you know what I mean? Like, all throughout COVID, like, it was kind of like stay at home, and I was like, what if you didn't have a home? What if the place you call home is really dangerous for you to be in? It was really, 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 really hard. And now that COVID is lifting, I've only just been placed in temporary accommodation. So now I'm like going through what people went through like a year and a half ago. And because I was going through a really traumatic experience where I couldn't, shield at home or be in lockdown in the same place, like, this is my lockdown time now. But because lockdown restrictions are being eased in a lot of places, it's kind of like, gotta get back to the normal. Have you found a job? You've got to, and I'm like, whoa, like, you guys have had the COVID break. I haven't. Like, I was working hard behind the scenes, but no one sees that. But I know it, and I don't need it to be seen to be validated. But simultaneously, respect my own knowing of how hard I work and what efforts I put in and what I have done and what I have achieved. Being alive is a huge achievement. In fact, it's my biggest achievement to date. Just living, breathing, and being sat here speaking to this camera today is like huge. There are times when I like sit down on my bed and I just get overwhelmed by emotion, and I'm literally like, I can't believe I'm alive. I can't believe I've survived the last however many years of my life. Like, I can't. I literally, when I empathize with myself, almost as if what had happened to me or what my experiences, if they were what had happened to my best friend or somebody I loved or cared about, and I respond and react emotionally to my own experiences as if they were happening to another, the amount of emotion is so profound. The amount of empathy and compassion, the amount of pain, but because it happened to me, I don't allow myself the same courtesy. Well, I'm learning to allow myself the same courtesy. There reaches a point there where there's like only so much paperwork that needs doing. There's only so much cleaning and house chores that need doing. You know, I keep on top of things generally on the regular, so that's a good thing. And then it's like, we'll get some hobbies, and I'm like, dude, like I was diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia, I have underactive thyroid, hypothyroidism, like all these adventures and these hobbies, like join a rowing club. It'll take you 3 buses to get there. Go for a jog. Go for a walk. All of these things, I'm like, I want to spend time with somebody. Like, I know what heals me, but I don't want to just spend time with anybody. Like, I want it to be a high quality connection where I'm not the provider, I'm not the space holder. I want that to be for me. I want to be the recipient of that. And I suppose I'm feeling like a sense of like dismay on like an intellectual level, at least, at kind of like how much I've been my own space holder and for how long, and kind of like it's exhausting, and it would be really nice to just like relax in bloody good company and just be a human being and just be normal. Like I'm like, even opening up in this capacity, like feeling a lot of fear about my security in this position, experiencing fear or feeling panic, like as a physiological experience, like when adrenaline gets released for the fight, flight, or freeze kind of like panicky situations, is like traumatic, because in this game, right, because it's a game, if somebody doesn't like you and they are working in a company and they happen to possess influence or power based on their position within that company, and they don't like you because you threaten their ego, you know, it's kind of like actions that they choose to take have consequences that might put, you know, another individual in jeopardy. And I'm not saying that is my reality, but it's a thought that's just, you know, like come to my mind now, you know, and I'm honoring that and I'm respecting that and I'm giving it some airtime, and that's fine. Doesn't mean I'm gonna like pitch a tent and like camp out there. I'm just saying, like, it's a finely tuned balance. It's very delicate sometimes. I suppose also, like, on this path to recovery, like aspects of self are like returning, but obviously the last time I associated or acknowledged those aspects of self that are like coming back, I was working full time and I had like a high flying career and I had income and I traveled the world. And if I got stressed, I could go abroad. I could book a massage. I could, do all these things that aren't so easy to do now. Like physically, financially, um, and obviously like in conjunction with what's going on outside and travel and restrictions and things. Just checking the time. 7 p.m. on a Sunday. Like, I want to buy bin bags, but I need to keep that money for food. I think ultimately what it all comes down to, I think, for me, the nitty gritty, like the core is I'm not getting what I want when I want it. But then it's like, well, what do I want and what do I need and what's the differences between it? So, and I'm okay with that. And I think it's okay to acknowledge those things, which is fine. And it's not that I don't want what I do have either. So it's just maybe I'll make a cup of tea. I think I'll make a brew. Make a brew. I've had some ideas about what I'd like to do, which is basically watch other people's videos but have a video on me, and then I will narrate and like comment on their videos as I'm watching them. So it'd be really cool if I can hook up some sort of tech situation that will facilitate me, like practically, to do that. I really enjoy consultancy. I really enjoy like translating things and playing with language and just like communications. I find it like it's a really beautiful skill for me, and it can be applied to like a multitude of like areas, but it's like the one sort of common denominator in a way. So I think that's pretty cool. But we'll see how that goes. Peace out. Much love. Also, how nice is this bra? I got it from Marks and Spencer's online, obviously, but it's just so cute. I like it anyway. And do you know what I really like about it? I just really want to say is the waistband at the bottom, because it's like actually, see how like thick that is. Oh, I love it so much. And what else I really love is up here, like it's soft. There's no wiring in it, but it's like it's soft, but it covers my like whole boob area, and I like generally feel really, really, really supported, which is it just feels so good. And I really feel like bras don't get like the airtime that they truly need. So check out Marks and Spencer's non-wired bras, ladies. Whew. Peace out.